right, I'm here with Kyle Shubel from Sony. Kyle, what's going on, man?
Not much. It's a pretty good show so far. I'm already tired.
The show is awesome. I've been running all over the floor, seeing as much as I can see as quickly as possible, and now I'm happy to be finally sitting down, relaxing, and checking out a beautiful game like Shadow the Colossus.
Shadow the Colossus, man. I am absolutely loving working on this title. I'm going to be looking away because I'm getting us ready for the demo here. No, Shadow the Colossus is the next title from the Ico team. Everybody remembers Ico. Team wanted me to make sure to let everybody know this is not a sequel.
No.
It's not Ico 2,
not
folks.
A sequel.
But we do have a kindred spirit here. It's kind of sharing the same palette, and it's they love puzzles. You know, that's what everybody always remembers from playing Ico, and they've really outdone themselves by making almost a living puzzle with Shadow the Colossus.
So why don't we fire up the demo, shall we?
All right. Going to show you a little bit here. We got the E3 demo. Basically what we're going with here is a young boy, just to give you a brief recap on the story. Effectively, this young boy is trying to recover a loved one. She passed away, and rumor has it that she can be brought back to life if you take down the Colossus and absorb their essence, effectively.
Okay.
So what I'm doing is I'm taking you here, and we cheated and got you a little bit closer, so you're missing out on one aspect of it. I'm going to go ahead and cover that roughly, but there's three aspects to the game. Effectively, you have exploration, where you're looking for the Colossus.
Right.
Once you find the Colossus, you got to figure out how to beat him.
Oh, jeez.
And once you figured out how to beat him, you actually have to do it. So that's not as easy as said as done, you know. So here we go.
Now, what sticks out about Shadow the Colossus, as you're saying, you got to find these Colossus. There's 16 of them. Colossi, Colossus.
Colossi, yes.
There's a bunch. There's 16 of them, and they're all pretty much boss fights. And what's the rest of the game? Fighting a bunch of little guys?
Nope, there are no other creatures in the game. All you got, what you have on the screen here is basically a medium-sized Colossus. It's
he's tiny. He's totally average.
Well, we do have a few of them that are significantly larger than these. But basically what you have is just the Colossus that you have to take down. And this one right here, you enter into the arena, effectively waking the Colossus up, and now you fight this particular Colossus. Now you have the magical sword that you can point around and shine light on different things. And by using this magical power, you can actually identify the weak spots on the Colossus. That's also the tool that you use to explore and find a Colossus.
When you're riding around on your horse.
Exactly. Your horse named Agro. A-G-R-O. It's a kind of a disturbing name, but a ticked-off horse, apparently. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and get up and close and personal with this Colossus. He usually doesn't like me being on him, so he's probably going to kick around a little bit here. Yep. Yeah. There we go. He's not happy at all. So I'm going to go ahead and get his attention real quick, which helped me climb up on his leg. Come on. Play with me.
So you say you have to find the Colossus. How? I would assume, one, there's a large world to find all these in, and how much of the world does each Colossus cover? Are they confined to one spot? Will they be roaming around all over the place? Or
there are about 52 different areas that are 600 meters by 600 meters each. And each of these arenas, you have to pass through them, and you basically have a temple which acts as a base of operations where the girl's body is, and you relay from that after defeating each Colossus. But you actually have to pass through, multiple areas, anything from blasted wastelands to forests, mountain lakes, mountainous areas. It just plains. I mean, it's an expansive world. There are no load times. It's all a seamless transition.
Nice.
And you feel like you're running forever. It's great.
Speaking of which, it looks like I made you lose your dude. You want to
that's perfectly fine. He's around here somewhere. He generally doesn't. He's unhappy with me.
I'd say he's nearby.
But I don't want to show too much on the Colossus anyways. Everybody's going to see the video and everything. But effectively, the fun part is figuring out how do you take this guy down. His weak spot is actually on the top of his head.
Okay.
So I have to climb around, get around behind him, climb up his leg, onto his back, over his shoulders.
Right.
And you're clambering around on this beast here. Hey, stop that. Okay. But, it's a very intense. I mean, the only way I can really describe it is anticipation. When you're taking down one of these Colossus, it is a very, I can't take on two of them at once. I have to go from one to the next and set down the controller and, cut my adrenaline level down because you just are exhausted after taking one of these down. But yeah, you're running around, you're taking down all these different guys, and you know, that's the...
Is there anywhere else in the world you can show us? Can you show us another Colossus, or is this
only this Colossus for now? We're going to be doing a sneak peek on a few of the other Colossus. We can go ahead and take that down if we want to. But no, we're only showing one Colossus at this point in time.
Understandable.
But we definitely have more on the way. We're going to be releasing more screenshots and information on the game as we go.
Wonderful.
We do expect to have this out in the fall, so you guys are going to be getting to see a lot more information in the very near future.
Great, and then we already have actually on the site from a pre-E3 event, we have an interview with you.
Oh, yes.
We have gameplay movies. We have plenty of screenshots. Now, in the interview, you described some of the other Colossi. Could you tell us, can you recap those for people who haven't seen them before?
Basically, the different Colossus, you aren't dealing just with giant guys. I mean, there are bipeds, there are quadrupeds, you've got swimmers, you've got flyers, you've got as diverse of Colossus as you do environments that you're moving through in the game. So you've basically got a lot of flexibility to, you know, how do I figure out how to take this guy down? And, you know, it can be anything from you have to do it from horseback or get to someplace quickly, you have to lure the creatures in different ways, but... You know, honestly, everybody loved Ico for the puzzles. They basically have created living puzzles that you have to find some way to interact with, and it's very intense.
Do you feel like taking some questions from the audience?
Sure.
All right, cool. Our first...
If I can, of course.
If you can, no problem. If you can't answer any of these, then we'll just move on. We have
I'll just plead ignorance.
GameSpot Complete members, keep sending in the questions. You know the drill from On the Spot. Keep doing it. Our first question is from Samad Banks in Jacksonville, Florida. Because of the formula of gameplay, will the game feature a heavy storyline or CG scenes?
The storyline itself is simplistic in the utmost. I mean, effectively, it is a love story. The actual development of the story, you're learning little snippets and tidbits as you go along, but it's going to be brief sequences. There's very little CG. Everything is done in engine.
Nice.
So we actually are keeping absolute, you know, suspension of disbelief. You feel like you're part of the world. Most of the interactive movies, the non-interactive movies, are in the at the death sequence of a Colossus or back at the temple where you're getting, you know, little bits of information as to what you figured out or where to go next.
Great. Derek Valadow from Ontario, Canada. Is there any kind of stability of weight shifting you can do to stay on the Colossus when he flails around like you were showing?
The big key when you're climbing on a Colossus is that you have to stop trying to do other things, basically hold on for dear life. When you do that, you can actually hold on, and he's going to try and grab on with the other hand with the sword in it. And when you get that situation, you don't get flung off as easily.
Right.
If you keep trying to climb or jump when he's flinging you about, you're going to get chunked across the battlefield, which does happen.
Now, Danny Sahagun in Honolulu, Hawaii, he asked a question that we saw a brief example of. Does the Colossi attack the main character?
Yes. Yes, he does. Now, you, in his opinion, aren't much of a threat. As you can see on the screen right now, he's a little bit irked at me, and he's kind of threatening. He'll step forward a bit and probably step on me in a moment. So, but you are considered just not much of a threat. You're a flea.
And you are so small.
Generally, you'll be clambering around on him, and if you're on one of the buckles or the stone portions of the Colossus, he doesn't care. He doesn't even notice that you're there. It's not until you get on the fur that he's like, yeah, what the heck is this? And tries to fling you off.
So you don't run across a Colossus who has like the anthill mentality where he wants to kick you over immediately, gets a little angry just when you're around.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness, because these things hit hard.
Manny Brown of Cheltenham, United Kingdom. Does the game play in a similar fashion to Ico? Also, are there any other versions apart from the PlayStation 2 planned?
Can't go into what's planned, but at present it is PlayStation 2 exclusive. And as far as Ico-like gameplay, I mean, it's got the similar feel and palette. It looks similar to Ico in occasional moments. You know, you've got this color palette and the feeling in the artwork that you can definitely tell it's the Ico team. But as far as it being Ico-like, no. This is a completely new game. The team wanted to raise the bar for the industry, and I think they've accomplished that.
Cool. We are getting questions from everywhere. This is awesome.
There we go.
Yeah. Ready? We're staying international. Miguel Morales in Guatemala.
All right.
Why did you change the name from Wanda the Colossus, and how much are you going to use your horse?
Okay, let's go and do the first question. Wanda and the Colossus. The problem with Wanda and the Colossus was that Wanda is actually intended to be Wanda, or a wander or wonder. So it's almost I don't want to say a misinterpretation, but it's basically, it has additional meanings in Japan.
Okay.
For us, it's a woman's name.
Right.
I don't know if we really want to have a cross-dresser playing. It's all fun and everything, but hey, we just didn't think that would suit the American public. But that is the boy's name, and effectively it's intended to be wanderer or wonder, and it ended up being Wanda, and that's we just wanted to take it somewhere else.
I like the name Shadow the Colossus.
Hey, Shadow the Colossus works for me.
You will be definitely standing in plenty of shadows.
Yes.
All right, more questions. This one's...
We had the second one on there as well, which was...
How much do you use your horse? How much do you use your horse?
Yes, Agro is the horse, AGRO. You're going to be riding around on him a lot. That's your primary mode of transportation. You do, as I said, 52 600 by 600 meter areas. This is a big world.
Huge.
You have to transition through most of these worlds. I would actually say you probably use the horse in combat on several occasions as well, as far as having to keep up with a fast-moving Colossus and using your bow. You do have two weapons. I didn't mention that earlier. You have your magical sword, which shows you where things are and weaknesses are, and the bow. And you can fire the bow from horseback while riding at a full gallop. So it's yet another immersive first, in my opinion, for video games. I haven't done that before.
I want to play this game. All right, this question comes in from Phoenix. Does Shadow the Colossus have a combo system or an event-type button-mashing similar system similar to another Sony game, God of War?
Not really a power-up or a special attack. You do have your sword. When you use it, you do have a power-up, basically pullback, but it's not a timing sequence.
There's not going to be like an X button that shows up they have to hit or anything?
No, pretty much we had to fill up most of the controls just because you have grabs and climbs and jumps, and you're calling your horse and making your horse gallop and changing weapons, and the controller got pretty full of doing other things, so therefore having an X circle, triangle to use a weapon, that had really confused things, because now you're jumping off and changing weapons and falling to the ground. Yeah. So no combos.
All right, cool. Keeping the questions coming. We are slowly running out of time. We can have you show off this beautiful game. Thomas in Paris, California. You thought I was going to say Paris, France, didn't you? You're right there. Since there are only boss fights in the game and no one else, it seems like the game will be kind of short. How long will the game last for an average player?
I think an average player, if you're lucky, will get it done in about 8 hours. I think you're going to get 10 to 12 for most people, and some people will take significantly more. You can also go back and take on another Colossus and try and do better this time. But, I mean, honestly, when it comes down to it, you've got a distance to traverse. You have to figure out where he is, which is a puzzle in of itself.
Right.
Then typically there can be a hoppy, jumpy, console-type puzzle to get to it. You're climbing up cliff faces or going over things, trying to get to the arena. That can take anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes just to get to a Colossus.
Right.
Once you're there, you have to figure out where his weak spot is, and that's not as easy as it sounds. You're shining the light on him. You sometimes have to climb on him to be able to shine the light in places you can't see from the ground. You also have to then kill it. You now know how to kill it, but doing that is still, climbing up his leg and getting on the buckles, and, it's not as easy as it sounds.
Understandable. And you actually just answered another question from regular writer John Latorre in New York. Any other puzzles other than the Colossi? You said you'll be climbing up cliffs, you'll be jumping around.
You've got a few of them. It's typically figuring out how to get to the Colossus, and that can be as direct a route as getting your horse and ride there, or find a way to work your way up a valley or a cliff to get up on top, swimming across a particular lake to find a landing to climb up onto a plateau. There are enough environments and things going on that it'll keep you busy.
Nice. Ville, I'm not sure, in Finland. I don't know how they pronounce names in Finland, I'm sorry. How's the soundtrack? More of the same ambient goodness than in Ico, I hope? Absolutely. It's got another proprietary, written for the game. It's blanking on the word. It's all original music. It's all composed and made just for the game. It has a very similar feel to Ico, and it has a great feel. There's a grandiose feel to the music. When you take down a Colossus, there's almost a morose sadness to the music as it goes down. You've taken down something that's 1,000 years old. It conjures up emotions. Understandable. Actually, I'm going to say on a personal level, I remember when I beat another, not to bring it up again, but I'm going to bring it up again. When I beat God of War, when you beat God of War, there are several features revealed. One of them is saying that David Jaffe says he wishes he could have included a level where you climb up the Colossus, the Titan, in that game, but they just ran out of time.
Yep.
And now this sounds like this game will totally solve that challenge. Did we just get power
we
back?
got power.
Hey,
All right.
we got power back. Oh, there's a monitor behind it. It's great. It's like Christmas, but it's just with a light switch. That's so nice. We're gonna have. Are we good? All right, cool. Well, thank you for coming by, Kyle.
Okay, thank
When's
you very much.
When's this game coming out, man?
Fall.
The fall.
This fall.
Early. Make it early fall. I want to play it.
As early as we can get it out to you guys, as good as we can get it.
We appreciate it. Thanks for coming by, man.
Definitely.
And I believe right now we're going to toss it out to Homer in the field. Homer, where are you, man?